Hey again, welcome back to YouTube Quarantine Sunday School. I'll be glad when all this is over and we can get back to our normal Sunday school because I do not like doing this behind this camera. I would rather be there where I can see you. I miss you guys, but it's a whole lot easier when I can do this in person. But we're going to do our lesson outside in my yard today. So after this, we'll head out there and do our lesson. But I have a challenge for y'all today, for this week. My challenge is I'm going to give you a Bible verse to learn. And I want you to learn it, memorize it, and then have somebody video you quoting it. You can do it in front of your favorite hobbies. Have your video done in your favorite hobbies. If you like to fish, do it while you're fishing. If you like to play the piano, do it while you're playing the piano, or in your room with some of the things that you like to play with, or your video games, have someone do it in front of your video games. If you like to cook, do it in the kitchen. If you like to sleep, you can't do it while you're asleep. So you got to wake up to do it. Anyway, the scripture I'm going to give you is Daniel chapter 3, verse 18, and it is, "But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." All right, here we are in my yard, and we got a fire going. It's kind of went down a little bit now, but I've been doing this on Saturday night, so y'all can get it first thing Sunday morning. And this is what we're doing tonight. We have our fiery furnace. We're going to talk about the 3 Hebrew children tonight. And this right here, just standing in front of this, is hot. So I can't imagine what they really heated up that furnace to. But y'all know the story, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But we're going to talk about in Daniel chapter 3. We got my fire going. I have a bubble concoction here. Well, it's not much of a, but it's just water and soap for right now. I don't know what's wrong with it. There goes one. So, we know the Hebrew children were some of the rulers in the Babylon province, and Nebuchadnezzar was king. And Nebuchadnezzar had built an image of gold. The image stood 90 feet tall. And I looked up some stuff to try to see if there was anything that was 90 feet tall that I could compare it to. It is just about equal to 2 school buses put together. It is almost equal to 9 to 10 elephants stacked on top of each other. There is a Buddha statue in India that is about 98 feet tall. Anyway, this was a statue that Nebuchadnezzar had built in the plain of Dura. And while I was studying this, I was looking it up, and they said that they had found a pedestal in the same area in Dura that could have possibly been the pedestal or the platform that the idol or the statue was set on. I thought that was pretty neat. Anyway, they set it up, and then he called for all of the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kind of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace." So he said, when you hear all this music starting, you bow down and you worship this statue that a man built. Now that's totally ridiculous, just to fall down and worship a golden statue that somebody built. There is mosquitoes flying everywhere. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, my fire's going out, dwindling down. Anyway, the three Hebrew children were there, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they knew that they shouldn't bow down to any other thing, any other person, thing, except to God. And that's the only thing they would bow down to. And so all around them, the music started playing, and all around them, people fell down and started to worship this statue. So, and they didn't do it. They stood their ground and they didn't do it. Y'all, this is awful. I mean, it's like a swarm. It's a pestilence. Anyway, so they did not bow down. They just stood their ground. And they said, well, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to bow down to anything but to God. And so some whiny baby went and told the king on them, Your Majesty, didn't you say if they didn't do it that they're going to be cast into fiery furnace? Well, there's 3 boys that's not doing it. And they said, who is it? Bring them to me. So they brought those 3 Hebrew children to Nebuchadnezzar. And he said, is this true that you don't do this? Is it true, Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? He said, now if you be ready, when this all happens again, if you're ready, we're going to do this again. And when you hear the music again, you fall down. And if you don't, then in that same hour, we're going to throw you into the fire. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood their ground again, and they stood up and they said, O Nebuchadnezzar, we're not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. In other words, he said, look, our God is able to deliver us from anything that you throw at us. He can take care of us. But even if he don't, we're still not going to worship your gods. We're not going to bow down to some statue. We're not going to bow down to the gods, except for the one true God. And it said that the king was full of fury. He was furious. And he got so mad. Where's that lighter fluid? And he was so mad that he didn't just want to throw them into the fire like he had built originally. He raged, and he said, heat it up 7 times hotter. And so they turned, however they turned first. We have lighter fluid here, and so that's what we're going to use. And said, heat it up some more. Heat it up 7 times. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He said, heat that stuff up 7 times hotter. And they got it so hot that the men that had grabbed them up, it said that his mightiest men, in here it said that he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So he had the toughest, meanest, ugliest men in his army to bind them up and throw them in. And when they went to throw them in, it killed those mighty men just from the heat of the flames. And they had, so it killed them. And they cast them in there, and Nebuchadnezzar was watching. He was still mad about it because somebody didn't do what he said do. He was still mad. He was looking around, and he said, hey, didn't we just cast in 3 men? And he said, yes, we cast in 3. He said, well, there's another one. There's 4 I see walking around in the fire. He said, lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire. And the 4th one looks as the Son of God. Turn my page in my Bible. The 4th is like the Son of God. And so Nebuchadnezzar came near, And he was amazed because they're walking, it killed his men that threw them in. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and another form was walking around in the fire, and he was amazed. So he called me, he said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God. Now before he had said something that, what God can deliver you from my hand. He didn't give God much credit. But here he's saying servants of the Most High God. He kind of changed his attitude real quick. So they called Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego out of the fire. They were fine. Nothing was wrong with them. They had no hair singed on them. They didn't even smell like smoke. And so he was amazed, and he said, if anybody, he said, surely your God is, where am I at? Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have changed the king's word. So then he made a decree. He said, if anybody speaks anything bad against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he said, I'm going to cut them up into little pieces, and then I'm going to destroy their houses. Because he realized that God was the Most High God. But I have a little object lesson to do for you. It's just bubbles, just water and soap, and I didn't put a little much soap in there, I guess. So what we're going to do today is, this is going to be my Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or this one. I'll move this over here. Kids, don't try this at home. Don't play with fire at home. Don't play with chemicals at home. Now we have Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace.
Too close to your skin, Mom.
It didn't. You're right. Lighter going. Oh yeah. I'll have to edit all this out.
Want another one?
There we go. My Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And look, no harm done. No hair singed. Not even the smell of smoke. I smell like soap. So, but what I wanted, my point today I want to make, I have 2 points while I was studying this. I thought I would have one, but I found 2 points that I want to make. My first point is, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego first came before the king, and he said, if you're ready, we're going to try this again. You bow down. You bow down and you worship when they play. And they said, if it be so, the God whom we serve will deliver us. But if not. And that's one of the points I want to make. Now, there were people all around them bowing down. It would have been easy just to say, okay, I'm going to bow down. I'm just going to pray to God, but I'm going to bow down. It would have been easy probably to try to sneak away and get away from that situation. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't. They were men of integrity. And they said, you know what, we're not going to do this. Even if. What are some even ifs in your life? Are you able to trust God and serve God even if? Even if that prayer that you've been praying for hasn't been answered yet? Even if that family member hasn't been healed yet? Even if that person you've prayed for hasn't come to church yet? Even if God doesn't do something specifically for you that you've been praying for, even if, will you still serve God? Job said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. You have to get it in your mind. I'm going to serve God. I'm going to serve him no matter what. I'm going to trust in him, even if blank. Put your blank in there. See what it is. We all have some doubts. We all have fears. But you still have to trust God. That was my first point. And I'm going to quickly close here because the mosquitoes are biting me. But even if the mosquitoes take me away, I'm going to trust God. My second thought was, you have people in your life that try to influence you in a way that's not pleasing to God. You have people at school, there may be some in your family that is crying out and saying, hey, just like the choir did said, when the music plays, you bow down. You bow down or else. There's people at school you've been to school with. I know you're not in school right now, but you have been and you will go back. There may be some of your friends that saying, hey, if you don't do this, you're not cool. Do this or else. If you don't laugh at these ugly jokes, you're not cool. If you don't say these ugly things, you're not in the cool. There's people all around you, and it may not be that's just one or two examples, but it's like them crying out, hey, if you don't do this, if you don't bow down when the music starts, this is going to happen. If you don't do this, you're not cool. If you don't do this, you ain't nobody. And that's what sometimes the world will cry out at you. If you don't do this, you're not this. Well, a child of God doesn't have to bow down to the statues and the idols of this world. They bow down to God. Don't bow down to the statues and idols of this world. And I'm not talking about a physical statue, but I'm talking about the things that people try to get you to do. They're crying out, when the music starts, do this. Stand up for God. Be boys and girls of integrity. And I'm going to get out of here before I'm taking off. I love you guys, and I hope y'all have an awesome week. And I hope to see you in Sunday school soon, because I do not like doing it in front of the camera. I get nervous and I forget half of what I'm going to say. I'm way out of my comfort zone here. So I love you guys. Have a good day.